integrated accounting and business management software. Your Spire module tutorial is about to begin.
This tutorial explains the production management system in Spire. So we've got this icon, it's called production, and on this is a list of all items that are in production at this time. So these are a list here. Some of them have a customer's name on them. Some of them are just being built for stock. The item that's being built is shown here, and you can sort by this. You can see that sometimes items are there more than once because they either could be for different runs or for different customers. They're there. We've also shown the description of it, how many were required, how many have already been built. So we've done a partial build on these, it'll show, and then the remaining quantity. The order date, so that's the date the order was created. And we have the required date, that is when we need this to be finished. That's an important date because that's the date that we derive reports for reordering of the raw material. Okay, we have a status, and that can be open or pending or in progress. And pending and in progress commit raw material. We have a priority level you can set. You can set a phase. So if you've got custom phases that you put something through, it can go from phase to phase, and that can be done by clicking the next phase button, or also inside the production order there's a next phase button, and then the date changes to the date that arrived in that phase. The PO number, if the customer gave us a PO for it, a reference number, which we can just type something on the production order itself, who created it, who last edited it, and the template that it came from. Now the template, which is what we'll look at next, is here, and these are the master templates or bill of materials or recipes or whatever you want to call this. We call it a template, and we have a part number on it and a description and so on this. And then these are just a list of the ones that we do have in the system at this time. So if we look at one of them, this is a template to make these bars, these chocolate bars, and to make one of them requires 100 grams of peanuts, 100 grams of peanut butter, and so on. So we've got all the items here on the list that we need to make this item. We can also have a different version of the same template. So this one's called the default template, which means when we make this bar, that this is the recipe used, but you can have more than one template for the same item. So if you have a version you make for a special customer, you can have a slightly different version for it, or you have one that you make with a different color of paint, if it's a product you paint, or you could have a summer mix of something and a winter mix of something. Maybe it's made slightly different, and you can change the default depending on the season. Okay, on the lines here we have instructions, so you can do line by line instructions. So whatever you type in here can be printed on the production form if you wish, or it can be just have on screen for reference. We can also set the scrap and yield for each one. So if we have a certain scrap percentage that we know of every time that we do this, so we can put that in here as well. And a vendor that we would normally buy this from. We can set that as well. So for shortages on raw materials, it can automatically requisition the raw materials from the correct vendor. Okay, we'll just close that for a moment. We can save a new revision on it if we've edited it. Okay, so there are a few different ways that items can get into production. So the first way is to actually just manually add something in production. We hit the plus button, then we come down here and we put an item on here that's going to go into production. Then if we either search or type something in search to find what we want to manufacture, we choose it on the list, and it populates it with the template that was created for that. And if we move over to the right, you can see that the template number is here, and if there were more than one template, you could look it up and choose a different template for the same item. In this case, we just have the one template for it. Okay, so now we decide how many we're going to make. So if we're going to say make 100 of them, let's just go a little higher. Actually, 100 is fine. So you'll see now that we put the 100 on here, and it shows us a series of lights. So we got green lights and red lights in this case. The green lights mean that we have enough of this soy lecithin. So if I drop this quantity down to say 50, we may get a few more greens. So here we have just the one shortage here. So let's just pick something in between. So now we've got a few shortages that were on this. So if we highlight the protein powder here, it's red, and we need 100 of them. You see that we have 700 on hand, but we need a total extended quantity of 7,500 in this case. Okay, so we have not enough of them. And we go soy lecithin, we have enough. We have on hand of 6,010, and we need 2,250, so on. So if we have a yellow light, that means we've got partial commitment. So if we commit this one, so now if we take this one and commit it and put it in as pending, so what that's going to do is commit all this raw material in inventory as soon as I save it. So now it's been saved and committed. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just put this production order aside for a moment, and we're going to create another production order the same. So now what we'll do is we'll overcommit what we've got. So put the same item in there. And this time around, you'll see you've got some yellow lights. Let's just put some quantity in here, say 50. Let's go with 75 again. Okay, so now what we have in this case is, again, still the same shortages we had on the first one. We've got it right here. And we've got, actually, we save this one now here too. And if we've got same shortages as the first one there. We've got still okay on the soy, but the vanilla, we now have a yellow light. And what that yellow light means is that we are overcommitted on this item. So we have 7,500 of them committed, yet we have not enough of the, actually this one here, sorry, the vanilla. So we got 5,000 on hand, 4,125 are remaining, but with the two production orders together, we're overcommitted on them. So we therefore have these yellow lights. So we could build this one, well, besides the red lights, we could build this, but then we wouldn't have enough for the other one here. So, all right, so let's just go ahead and save this one. Now we'll work on this, and from here, like I said, you've got a sales order you could have this from. We added this manually, so you can still manually add the sales order by doing a lookup, picking the sales order and putting the customer on it. But you can also could have created the production order from the sales order, which I'll show you shortly. Okay, so here, like I said earlier, we got pending and in progress. Both of them commit the raw material. No difference in what it does in the program, but for reporting purposes, pending means you've kind of picked the product or you want to commit it so that it gets added to reorder process. But in progress means you started the job, so if a salesperson wanted to look back at this to see what stage it was at, they can tell the customer, yes, it's being produced right now. Okay, so then you can again set the highest to lowest in priority, just again for viewing and reporting purposes. The required date is important because that's the date that we use for reporting to tell us when to order more raw materials in. So I'll just say put a date of next month on this. And then I can now save it again, and then I can print this. So I hit print. I'll just print a couple of reports off here. So I'll just preview them. So the first one's a trial build. So this shows us the shortages. So those were the red lights. The potential shortages, so these are the ones that were overcommitted between other production orders. And then we have the ones with no shortages, so the two items with no shortages. Okay, and then the other report is a production order report, and this is just basically given to somebody to produce this product, and it shows a costed list here, unit cost and the cost of the whole 75 units, and any other pertinent information on here. All right. So now we put it in production. We're going to save and close it. Oh, actually, first of all, we need to order some product. And if we wanted to order product specifically for this production order, we can do so from here by clicking on the Requisition button. That brings up a list of all of our shortages, and there's the required items there. And you can tweak these items. You can change the quantities of them, and you can even go ahead and add in some of the items that we weren't short on if you wanted to get some extras if you know that you got some production coming up that's going to require them. But in this case, I can just hit process. Then what happens is you'll see that a purchase order got created. And there's the purchase order numbers. And it combines all the ones that are common vendor onto one purchase order. Okay, so after we've requisitioned them, you'll notice if we put this aside and go to purchases, and we'll see we've got two POs here that got created, 56 and 57. If we go into 56 here, we'll see we've got all the items that we requested from the production, and then it also stamps the production order number and the customer right on to this order. And in addition to that, it puts the line-by-line required date right on this items, so we know when they need to be arrive as well. So that can be done with reporting and such. And then on the production order itself, we also show the purchase order number line by line, where which purchase order it's been ordered onto. And then we look at quick look at the other PO. Same thing here. You'll see the same information, what PO it came from, or production order it came from, and what customer it's for on there as well. So we get a complete link between the production and purchasing. All right, so we've requisitioned product, we've printed off our production order, and we can just now save and close it. So this has got added now. If we go back to the production, it got added now to production. There's number 40 there. And we can now report on this. So we've got several reports that we can print from this production order list. So if we choose the print all section, and we'll pop up, and you'll see that it's going to print off the production schedule, a production order, and also a material requirements by inventory. So I just preview these. You'll see that it shows what's out of stock on all the items. So this is pretty well out of stock all the way across the board. Let's find one here. So here's one that's not out of stock yet. And if we go down the list a bit here, we should find one that gets out of stock. Yeah, there's one here, low stock. So we've got not enough to be able to produce all of this one. So the first 6 or 7 were good. This one here, we're low. We can't complete it. And these are now out of stock. We cannot complete those ones. And we can go all the way through the list to see what we need to order and when it needs to be in based on that indicator on the line. And the schedule, this shows each day how busy it's going to be. So February 2nd, March 26th, September the 16th looks like a pretty busy day. We have to have all that product done. September 23rd, we got some, the 1st, and so on. So this report can be printed off on a daily or weekly basis to show how busy the shop's going to be able to produce the product. And then the production order itself, that's just the one I had highlighted. So I'll just go back and print again. So just that one highlighted. But if I wanted to print everything, say required date, and I want to print all the ones from the 16th, I just highlight all the ones from the 16th and hit the print button and choose that particular report. So I'll just uncheck those two, preview. You'll see, that's the material requirements. Let's print again. The production order, preview. And there's each of the items. So there's the first one, the second one, the third one. So these are all the production orders that need to be produced for that particular day. Okay, so a couple other ways that we can get items into production. If we go to the inventory list, we can now do it right from here. So if we find all the items that are where the type is manufactured, so there they all are here, and we can highlight each of these, and you'll see that on that list there's a column called suggested order. It's probably turned off right now, so turn it on, the suggested order quantity. So those are based on our commitments to our customers. That's going to show us what we need to produce. So in this case, we're not short on anything. So it just says suggested order of 0. But if we did, we could press the requisition button. It'll pop up that same list we saw earlier with numbers populated in here of what commitments we've got for those items, so we can automatically create the production orders right from the list. And then the other way is to go into sales, and we sell a product to somebody. So let's put an item on the sales order. Oh, customer's on hold. And we put the item on the order, and we want to sell the customer 25 of them, and they're lot numbered, so we have got stock on right now, so we'll just leave that off. And then we requisition from here. So we click on a requisition button, brings up 25 of them to be requisitioned, hit the process button, and if we move over to the right, you'll see that we produced production order number 42. So we close that now, and we move this over. You'll see that production order number 42 got created right on that line for this customer. I'll just save and close this. Go back to production. And we can now have refresh it, number 42. And there it is there, created for that particular customer, and the customer's name is stamped right on the order here. All right, so now we want to build something. So let's go back to 40 here. And let's just reduce this so we get everything green. So we're going to build 12 of them instead. We still have some shortages, so let's just do, in this case, we can show you how to do a substitution. So let's say we just go look up here, and we substitute for a different product. So let's find something we do have stock on. So let's go with cornstarch. And we need 12 of these. So now we have all green or yellow. So remember, yellow means we're overcommitted, but we can still build this product. As you saw, we can substitute, we can change parts, but we can also add things on the fly here. So if we ended up adding an extra item to this for a particular customer maybe, we can put that in there as well. And you can get actual quantities that you used as well. So if you ended up using 902 of this item, you can just change the quantity to 902 and use exactly the quantity required instead of an estimated quantity, so for spillage and things like that. All right, so at this point, we can go ahead and build this item. We hit the build button. We can go ahead and build all 12 of them, or we can do a portion of them. This is how we also do yield. So in this case, we type in 11 here. Watch the cost here before I hit save. It started off at 389, but now let's go back. Yeah, so back to 12 first. So we got unit cost of 389, which of course didn't change. So let's go 11, but let's say we used 12. We used all the quantities for 12, so the cost jumped up to 425, but we only received 11 in stock. So it's consuming all the materials for 12, but only 11 got made. So maybe one of them was damaged as we made it, or other circumstances that can change there. And the other way around, you can also do it by typing in 11 here, and you made more than you thought, which brings our yield higher than 100%, and we get a lower cost because of that as well. So I'll just put that back to 12. Build date is the date getting posted to the general ledger. So that's the journal entry that's going to happen to move raw material into finished goods. Then we hit the build button. We give it a lot number because the item that we're building has a lot number on it. Give it a quantity. The expiration or best before date, if you had it set up an inventory for the best before date to come automatically, say 6 months from now, it would do that for you. But otherwise, you can go ahead and choose a date. And then I click OK. And then it says successfully build as opposed to production history number 6. So if I click OK there, I get a final report that I can print off for accounting to know exactly what our costing was and who the customer is so we can bill them for it and the lot number that got produced. Okay, so now if I go to production history, you'll see if I sort this to build number 6, there's that customer. And you'll see that we built this item, including the customization that we did for this particular customer. So it gets all brought back here. Okay, so I wanted to show you how to update a template. There's a couple of different ways. So we go back to production and we go to template. We go into number 16 that we're working on. So if you want to make a change to this, say that that coconut we added as the customization, if we want to go ahead and add that as a standard now, we can put that on here, and then we save this as the template. So for future, give it a new revision number if I want. So I'll just put 1.2 and save it. But I have stuff in production for this particular item right now, so I can go ahead and hit update orders, and then what it'll do is we hit save. It'll update. Looks like 7 orders that are in right now, and I can apply that, and it updates all of the 7 orders that are already in production, adds coconut to each one of them, so that they get the new template for them. The other thing we can do is in production, we go into a particular item. Let's say number 41 here. It's that item there, and if we make some changes here, so let's say we add the coconut. Let's just change the quantity on it. You can also now push this to the template. So if I highlight the top item here, I can go push to template, and what that did, it updated our template to add the 4 grams of coconut to the template. So you can push and pull from the templates that way. So if you know that the template was changed, you can also go pull from template, and it makes the change as well. In this case, it's exactly the same as it was. But so as you can see, from within production, you can update the bill of material, and from inside the bill of material, the template, we can update open production orders as well. And that's the basics of the production management system.
Thank you for watching this tutorial. This module lesson is now complete.